Hello and welcome! In this video, I'll walk you through how to complete the group re-registration form for existing clubs. Items to note before we get started. Assuming your sole advisor has already placed your club in re-registration, you will be able to see all the options to edit. But if you don't see either option, email your sole advisor directly so that they can place your club in re-registration. Let's get started. Let's start by accessing the re-registration form. To begin, go to your web browser search bar and type in csus.campusgroups.com. This will take you to the Campus Groups welcome page. Click on the Sign In button in the center of the page. You will then be directed to the single sign-on login page. This is where you will use your CSUS credentials to log in. There are two different ways to update your club's registration. The first way would be to update your form by navigating to your club's page. So option 1 is to use My Groups. Any member of the roster can access the group re-registration form by scrolling over to the left-hand side bar and clicking on My Groups. Click on the blue button with a plus sign on it that says Group Re-registration. If you're ready, feel free to start editing the form. Now let's go over option 2. Option 2 is to search for a club in the All Clubs section. So once you're logged in, you'll land on the home page. And on the top of your screen, you will click on the groups icon. It looks like a group of people. In the search bar, search up your club's name and click on it to open your club page. Officers who have admin access or have the officer checkbox checked off under members will automatically be taken to the group re-registration form. You're in the right spot if you see the following message. Fall renewal. Every fall semester, student organizations must renew their recognition by September 30th. Clubs with ineligible officers from the previous year are placed on suspended status and should work to update their registration as soon as possible, though no later than September 30th. Spring renewal. In spring, all groups that have officer changes must renew their organization recognition before March 1st. Clubs with ineligible officers from the previous semester are placed on suspended status and should work to update their registration as soon as possible, though no later than March 1st. Changes to the club's constitution must be submitted within 2 weeks of said changes being voted upon. Contact your sole advisor for support on that submission. Now that you know how to access the form, we can work on editing it and submitting it. Throughout this form, you will note that some items cannot be edited. If there is ever a need to make changes to those sections you don't have access to, you will need to contact your sole advisor and they will need to make the edits on their end. The first section is called Group Re-registration Details. In the Group Name section, you will note that you are unable to edit this. If you wish to make changes to your club's name, you will need to contact your sole advisor, and they will advise you on the steps needed to get this change approved. In the Category section, you will select the category you discussed with your sole advisor. You cannot select more than one club category, so make sure you select the correct one. For this example, my club falls under the Special Interest category. Next is the Logo section, which is optional. If you have a logo, you can upload it here, and don't forget to include an alt text to make the images accessible for people that use screen readers. Additionally, please be mindful of the logo policies as they were outlined in your Nuts and Bolts workshop. You can also refer to the Marketing and Publicity section of the Student Organization's Handbook. If you don't have a logo, you can leave this blank and you can move on. The Membership Benefits section is also optional, so you can leave this blank if you'd like. Next is the mission section. You're unable to edit this section, but double check that your mission statement or purpose statement matches exactly to what is outlined in your Constitution. If it doesn't, please contact your sole advisor for support. If you wish to make edits and change your mission or purpose statement, make sure you make the appropriate edits to the Constitution and let your sole advisor know of the changes, and they will do their part to make these sections match. The goal section is optional, so I will leave this blank. Now this is the Constitution section, and if you need to update your Constitution, go ahead and delete the old one and upload the latest version. A pop-up box titled Upload Files will appear. Click on the blue Upload Document button to upload your new Constitution. Once you're done uploading your new Constitution, click Done. The second section of page 1 is the officers. As reviewed in your nuts and bolts training, you're required to have both a president and treasurer in order to be a club, and both of them must be elected. Now you have the option of adding 3 additional officers below as either Officer C, D, or E. But if you do add them, they must have met the same exact requirements as the president and treasurer. Only officers who attended nuts and bolts this academic year and have an approved officer agreement are eligible to be added to the registration form. Again, if you choose to add more officers, they must meet the same eligibility requirements as the president and treasurer. There are no exceptions to this rule. If there are officer names in this officer section, feel free to delete them to make sure that you provide accurate information. This section autofills names as you type, so be careful when selecting a name, especially if the person has a common name. Double check their email to make sure that you have the right person. Once you've added your officers, scroll down, then click Next. This section will ask for your club's information again. In the organization name section, enter the name exactly as it is written in the group registration details section. Do not include the university name in this section. This is a common mistake. Only your club's actual name will be listed here. As a reminder, you do not belong to the university. You just operate on the university's campus, so your name will not include the school's name. In the club categories section, select the same category you chose earlier. Earlier, I chose special interest, so I'm going to make sure I check off special interest in this section. You will then be asked, is your organization affiliated with a national organization or a campus department? If yes, enter the organization's exact name, matching what's written in your Constitution. You will then need to agree to the following. A copy of the Constitution for your external affiliations is required to be placed in the Files section of your club's portal. To find this, please select your club from the Organization dropdown, select Files in Dashboard, select Upload, and if one does not already exist, create a folder titled National or Regional Constitution, and then upload a Word or PDF copy. Click I confirm. Now, if you are connected to a campus department or you know your organization does not have a national or regional constitution, then you are required to send a message to your sole advisor and let them know that this requirement does not apply to you and the reasoning as to why. If you do not upload a constitution or do not message your sole advisor and make them aware of any exceptions to this requirement, then your organization registration will be on hold until you take action. If your answer to the original affiliation question is no, simply select no. Once you're ready, click Next. The Officer and Member Information section requires officer details again, but this time it does not autofill. You will need to re-enter your officer information. Enter the President and Treasurer's full name, student ID, CSUS email, and phone number. You will be asked, do you have additional officers? If selecting yes, make sure to enter their full details exactly as before. If no, select no and move on to the next page by clicking Next. Reminder, you can review the group details section by clicking the drop-down bar above to double-check their order. This next page is the additional information section. You will agree to the following statement. I certify that my roster will be updated within my club's portal to reflect all current student members of the organization and that we will maintain it accurately throughout the academic year. Click I agree. Now that you have agreed to this statement, the next question you will need to answer is how many student members are in your club. Enter the number of how many student members are in your club. This number will need to match what you have uploaded to your CampusGroups portal. If you noted that you have community members in your constitution, then you need to indicate how many. As a reminder, community members may not exceed 20% of your total membership. You will then be asked, does your organization have any property in its control? If yes, you will then be asked, is this property a storage unit? If it is not a storage unit, please select no, then provide the exact address of any rented, leased, or written agreement properties in the text box. If it is a storage unit, make sure to select yes. If your organization does not have any property, make sure to select no for the very first question. Once you address that question, click Next. The Faculty Staff Advisor section is the last section of the form. Scroll down to the bottom of the page. This section autofills your advisor's name. Start typing their name and double-check their email to ensure you are adding the correct individual. As a reminder, once you submit this form, your advisor has additional items they need to do. Don't forget to review the section right above titled To Assist Your Faculty Staff Advisor. Please share the steps below with them. Once you've completed all the sections, take a moment to review your information. If you need to save this as a draft and come back to it later, click Save Form as Draft. You can find this draft by going back to your home page and locating My Surveys and Forms on the left-hand side bar. Before you submit, go back and double-check your entries. Make sure your club name, officer details, and constitution information are correct. When everything is ready, click Submit Form for approval. And that's it! You've successfully completed your group re-registration form. If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to reach out to your sole advisor. Thanks for watching!